Good evening and welcome to a regular Oak Harbor City Council meeting. It is the evening of March 2nd. It is 6 p.m. I'd like to call our regular meeting to order, and I'll invite you to stand and join us. I'm not sure whether Pastor Lawler is here. We're not seeing him, and I'd like to invite you to stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So again, welcome. Due to COVID-19, there's no physical meeting location. We're still operating according to the Washington Proclamation 20-28. Tonight's meeting may be viewed live via YouTube and replayed on cable channel 10. In addition, the public may call 623-404-9000 and enter the meeting ID number, which is 149-766-1467, to listen to the meeting live. This is for audio only. Council members and city staff, for the most part, are participating via teleconference. The staff sitting in council chambers are all physically distanced at least 6 feet apart and will be wearing masks when they are not speaking. Guests that are included in staff presentations will be excused from the Ring Central meeting at the conclusion of the agenda item as appropriate. At this time, I'd like to ask our city clerk to please do a roll call. Julie?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Pro Tem Munns.
Present.
Councilmember Heisen.
Present.
Councilmember Servadius.
Present.
Councilmember Wassinger.
Present.
Councilmember Mack.
Present.
Councilmember Goebel.
Present.
Oops, I better turn the mic on, sorry. Councilmember Wiesner has informed us that he will not be present this evening, and I will entertain a motion to excuse Councilmember Wiesner.
I so move we excuse Councilmember Wiesner.
Second.
Okay, by motion by Mayor Pro Tem and second by Councilor Servadius that Councilmember Wiesner be excused from tonight's meeting. All in favor, raise your hands. That passes unanimously. Thank you. So we will move on then to our agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda as presented? Not seeing any. The agenda will be approved as presented. And then we'll also move now to section 2 of our agenda. And tonight we are pleased to have Laura Renninger, the president of the Oak Harbor Garry Oaks Society. Welcome, Laura. Laura's got a public statement regarding the Year of the Oak. I'd like to welcome her and thank you for joining us this evening. Laura?
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, Mayor Severns. Lacking a formal meeting, I'm here with Garry, our Acorn mascot guy. So thanks for letting me join you. For hundreds, if not thousands of years before 1851, Oak Harbor was the village site of a sub-tribe of the Skagit people. The name of the village was Clatalechsi. Tribal people cared for and revered the environment, and the Garry Oaks thrived. Many of our city's oldest oaks are monuments to this legacy. Ultimately, ours would be the first town on Whidbey Island named after a natural landscape feature. In 1851, 3 men arrived who filed donation land claims surrounding Clatalechsi. It was at this time another early pioneer, Dr. Richard Lansdale, bestowed the contemporary name for this place as Oak Harbor in honor of the acres of Garry oak trees that stood along the shore. Oak Harbor Garry Oak Society is pleased to draw attention to the 170th anniversary of the naming of our town and to celebrate the very species that has shaped our local identity. Garry oaks that survive today represent strength, stability, and noble character. Their striking appearance, distinctly different from conifer trees, remain a timeless symbol of this special place we call home. Although we can't have any large gatherings right now, we encourage people in the community to find fun and interesting ways to celebrate 2021 as the year of the oak. Here are just a few fun, inexpensive ways to celebrate the year of the oak now through June of 2021. Seek out and examine beautiful oaks by taking the Garry Oak Tree Tour in Oak Harbor. This free self-guided tour map can be downloaded off our website. You can take a picture of your favorite oak tree and post on social media. Grab some sidewalk chalk and create your own oak-related design in the main plaza of Windjammer Park. From our website, you can see the video titled The History of Garry Oaks in Oak Harbor, or learn about acorns as a food source in the video How to Eat Acorns. Both these videos can be also found on YouTube. Around mid-April through June, look carefully in the tall grass in Smith Park for native blooming wildflowers to return under the oaks. I'm going to read you the back of a vintage postcard. This is from June 1948. Dear Ray and Loretta, still having lots of fun. This place is surely beautiful. The wildflowers are thrilling me to pieces. And of course, we all know this is the Whidbey Playhouse now, and it's got two beautiful Garry oak trees surrounding it. All right, so look for the wildflowers. If you are a homeowner and have room in a sunny location, consider planting your very own Garry oak tree. Even a single Garry oak can make a significant contribution to the biological richness of your property. At some point during the Year of the Oak celebration, we will be partnering with another local volunteer group to facilitate an outdoor experience, but I can't elaborate any more on it because it's a surprise. So please keep yourself updated. Stay tuned for more information on the Year of the Oak celebration. And lastly, please help volunteers keep our oaks healthy and increase their population to generate benefits for current and future generations. To quote the late historian and writer Dorothy Neal, long may they live, the Garry Oaks. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, and thank you to the Garry Oaks Society for your service to our community. We very much appreciate it. It is my privilege now to introduce Mayor Pro Tem, and Mayor Pro Tem has a proclamation to read.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to say thank you to the Garry Oaks Society for all the plantings, helping Oak Harbor with their code to protect them, plantings at NAS, the Oak Harbor grove of Garry oak trees as you enter the city. They've just done so many things. And recently they put up signs for the Garry Oaks Avenue. So thank you so much for all the ways you have helped enhance our city. Whereas Garry oak, Quercus garryana, is a beautiful white oak tree native to the Pacific coast of North America. They can grow to be quite large with a mushroom-shaped canopy of green leaves and sturdy trunks wrapped in bark that is white to grayish in color and distinctly furrowed. Garry oak's scientific name, Quercus garryana, was bestowed by botanist David Douglas in the early 1800s to honor his friend Nicholas Garry, an officer in the Hudson Bay Trading Company. And the tree has several common names, including Garry oak, Oregon white oak, and white oak. And the more common reference is Garry oak or Oregon white oak in Oregon and California. And you will find Garry oak trees growing in Vancouver Island, British Columbia, to Southern California. And Garry oak is the only native oak in Washington and British Columbia. And Garry oak is the principal native oak in Oregon. And since 2015, the Oak Harbor Garry Oak Society is committed to the stewardship of Garry oak trees on Whidbey Island through outreach, education, and preservation. The Garry Oak Society is marking the 170th anniversary from 1851 to 2021 in recognition of naming the city, Oak Harbor, in honor of the Garry Oak tree. And the Garry Oak Society and the city of Oak Harbor will have multiple opportunities to celebrate this event in March through June throughout Oak Harbor. I, Bob Severance, Mayor of the City of Oak Harbor, Washington, do whereby proclaim for everyone to celebrate the Year of the Oak. Learn more about the Garry Oak tree by participating in activities and visiting the Garry Oak Society website at www.ohgarryoaksociety.org. Thank you again. Oh, now, therefore, we, Bob Severance, Mayor and Councilman of the City of Oak Harbor, do proclaim 2021 as the Year of the Oak, encouraging everyone to learn more about the Garry Oaks, participate in events celebrating this wonderful tree and honoring our city has been named after it. Signed this second day of March 2021, Bob Severance, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Nicely done. Thank you. And thanks again to the Garry Oak Society and Laura. We appreciate it. Okay, we'll move on then, I think, at this point to our third section in our agenda. This is citizen comment period. Citizens may comment on subjects of interest not listed on the agenda or items listed on the consent agenda. Citizens may also comment on corresponding agenda items listed below. To submit a comment, please use the online comment form at bit.ly/OH public comment, or email the city clerk at jlindsay@oakharbor.org prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Or you can call 360-279-4539 to leave a voicemail to be played during the council meeting. Call to leave a voicemail after 5 p.m. on the Friday preceding the meeting and prior to 5 p.m. on the day of the meeting. When leaving a voicemail for public comment, state your first and last name clearly, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes. While not submitted as specific to this evening's council meeting, the city did receive some comments, and I'm going to turn to our city clerk, Julie, to share that.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Again, these comments were not submitted as specific to this evening's council meeting, but the city did receive 6 additional comments since the February 16th council meeting regarding the Angel of Creativity sculpture. We are listing these comments and providing them on the screen as part of the meeting record as public comment, and these were forwarded to the City Council.
Okay, that concludes our citizen comment as received, and that concludes item number 3 on the agenda. We'll move to the consent agenda, section 4. Staff has presented the listed agenda items. I guess there's 2, A through B, A and B. Seeing no, okay, Councilor Servadius.
Thank you, Mayor. Wanted to pull 4B.
Okay, so item 4A will be approved as presented, and we will turn then back to 4B. Go ahead.
And thank you. Unless I'm missing it, in reviewing the minutes for our February 16th meeting, when Richard Nash was presenting, he had asked for a copy of his letter to be included as part of the record, or the letter that Therese Kingsbury sent to everyone on the 14th of February. And I don't see that attached in here anywhere. When he had asked, you had said that it would be included, Mayor?
Okay, I see our clerk is, we will then see that gets added?
Yes, Mayor, we will attach that to the minutes.
Okay, so our clerk has said that we will definitely attach that.
Okay, then I will move, with that inclusion, I'll move to approve 4B as amended.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to approve 4B by amending it to add that letter. So we'll, motion by Councilor Servadius. I think the second was Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor, please raise your hand. Looks like that passes, yes. Okay, that passes unanimously. Okay, great, thank you. We will then move on to item number 5A. Mayor comments. Community response to COVID-19. City facilities remain open, but we would like to remind the community of our many options to conduct business and connect with staff virtually. We have electronic bill pay, virtual development application meetings, virtual boards and commission meetings, and an online comment portal. And these are just a few of the ways we have adapted to meet the needs of the community during this pandemic. More details and resources about the local impact of COVID-19 can be found on our website at www.oakarbor.org/COVID-19. The community guidance from Island County Public Health shows that as of February 26th, 2021, 12,490 individuals in Island County received their first dose of the vaccine. You can find the link to Island County Public Health's COVID-19 vaccination information page from our city website and Facebook page. Please continue saving lives by practicing the 3 W's. Wear your mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands. And get tested if you have any COVID-19 symptoms or have been exposed. We have several different city employment opportunities. The city is currently accepting applications for city engineer, building official, public works, streets department, wastewater treatment plant operator, a temporary accountant, and seasonal laborers for the marina and public works. And coming soon, we will be accepting applications for a plans examiner for our building division. More information and how to apply can be found at our city website, www.oakarbor.org/jobs. And that concludes my comments for this evening. So I'd like to turn to council for council comments. Councilor Servadius.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify, Julie, if you're listening, I think you are. Did you say that you had emailed those comments that you just displayed on the screen to us? I'm trying to spot those in my inbox.
Yes, Lisa was going to send those to you, I believe. If not, please let me know and I will forward them.
Okay, I think I see it here. I was looking for an email from you, but I see one from Lisa. Thank you.
Okay, any other, Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to remind people, please shop locally. Even though we are in phase 2, it's still very, very limited. And we have mostly small businesses and they're great people and I'd hate to see them go. So please shop them, buy a gift certificate, do anything to help them out whenever you can. I know they would appreciate it, but they're our neighbors, they're our friends, so we need to help them. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Good message. Any other council comments? Okay. Thank you. We'll move on then to our next actual agenda item is item number 8A, Professional Services Agreement, BHC for Building Official Services. And I think we have our Director of Development Services, David Cool. David, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Tonight we have an item in front of you, contract with BHC, a consultant from Seattle. As the mayor was just mentioning, the city has a number of open positions. And so the Development Services Department is no stranger to that. And so I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the things we're working on to try and take care of some of those issues. So I'm going to share a screen now. If this loads up. Julie, it looks like, okay, it's starting to load up. Well, we're getting there. Well, I guess we're not.
Okay, I think it's up
Julie,
now.
do you have the PowerPoint available?
It's up now, David.
Okay, I can't get it here at this end.
It's loaded, David.
Okay, cool. I'm not sure that I have the ability to move. Let's see. We'll see. So what's happening is we have a staff shortage in the department. We had Scott King, our building official, left earlier this year, and he decided to retire. So we've got the position out there to replace our building official, and it's working its way forward. Our HR director, Emma House, will brief you on that a little later tonight. So we're working on that recruitment, and that should be filled here sometime. Until then, a firm can come in and perform building inspection services as well as plans examining services in the short term. And so contract companies come in and do this all the time. They're there to help fill gaps for you anytime you have problems with staffing. Next slide, please. The firm we have selected is a firm called BHC. I worked with this firm when I was in Arlington back in 2008. I've worked with this firm when I was in Woodinville I used about 3 different firms in Woodinville, and BHC was one of them. And then I also worked with this firm in Chelan County. They're currently also in Chelan County right now. So this firm has been in Washington its entire existence. It's actually an employee-owned company that's based in Seattle. They perform permitting services, plan review, and inspection services, and do customer service. So they'll be able to do phone service from the office as well as from their offices. We also have the advantage, they've gone out and have found an inspector who actually lives in Oak Harbor. So we'll be able to have local service 3 days a week from the inspector who lives in Oak Harbor, and 2 of the inspectors live out of town. So 2 days a week, we'll have the outside inspectors coming to town. We'll be able to cover inspection services 5 days a week and be able to have plan review services done both in the office as well as online. The deliverables we'll get with this service is a 24-hour inspection request. So we've changed our services a little bit as a result of Cody West leaving. His last day will be Friday. And so we're going to change it from same-day inspection services to a cutoff of 4 p.m. the day before. And that way we can manage it. Customers will need to call in by 4 p.m. the day before so we can figure out how many inspections we have for the next day. And then the firm can come in and manage the inspections the following day. The plan review services, we're going to be able to get a 10-day turnaround, 10 business days, which is fairly prompt in the industry for single-family residential. We'll also get a 15-day business day turnaround for multifamily, as well as a 15-day business day turnaround for commercial services. And so that's pretty prompt. We should be quite happy with those services. Next slide, please. So the next step is to secure the contract, which is what we're going to talk about tonight. We've already been initiating a walkthrough with our vendor. They've been in our offices twice already. And so they've been trying to understand our process a little bit. They've been doing some walkthroughs with our staff. Our staff has also been training, learning how to do the initiation of permits, as well as how to take the actual process from Cody, where he's been doing it all himself, and trying to learn how to actually initiate the various permits and take it all the way through the entire process through inspections, and then do the data entry at the end of the process, and then do the filing at the end. So we've been working through that. Jay Lovelady has come downstairs, and he's going to be doing that full-time to help us with that transition. Lisa Beebe is also learning how to do that, as well as Sarah Heller. So we've spent a lot of time investing in learning how to do the tech training. And that's really an important aspect because we do not want to lose any of our customer service that we've built up through the fine service of Cody West. So today, once we approve this contract, we anticipate starting Monday with our new vendor. We'll have Willie Hill, who will be here from BHC, and Larry Catton. Larry has been in the business a long time, and he'll be our part-time inspector who lives in Oak Harbor. So they'll both be here next Monday. And then we'll be scheduling various inspectors throughout the week. So the first couple of weeks, it'll be varied in terms of schedule. And then we'll settle into some kind of a rhythm and a routine as we figure out what the volume of inspections are and what the volume of traffic is. And we just hope to continue and all learn and grow as we do this new process together. And one unique thing that we're going to do as planners is we're going to virtually review all building permits online. So we'll be reviewing floodplain analysis, setbacks, all zoning things together as planners online. And that'll be a fun thing that we'll all get a chance to do again that we all haven't done in a while. And so we'll all be doing it as a team, and we'll be doing that aspect of it once or twice a week. So we'll be able to stay on top of it. The philosophy behind this concept was we didn't want to have one person take 1 or 2 permits and then another person take a couple other permits and have them just sit in someone's inbox for a week and have the process fall apart. So we're all going to do it all at the same time, virtually online, so we don't lose anything in the transition. And so hopefully this process doesn't last more than a couple months, this entire transition. And hopefully we're able to recruit people and regroup and regrow with new folks as we go forward. So we're available for any questions you may have, and I'm sure Emma can help answer any questions you may have regarding our recruitment process.
Okay, I'd like to reconvene this regular meeting of the Oak Harbor City Council, March 2nd. We're in the middle of our agenda, actually, on item number 8A, Professional Services Agreement, BHC, for Building Official Services. We had our staff presentation, and we are beginning some questioning or some input and questions from City Council. So I'll go to Mayor Pro Tem Munns at this time.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Cool, my ears perked up when you said that you're going through, you mentioned inspecting and looking at plans, and you mentioned floodplain. Is there any problems with the county not being in compliance with their FEMA policies or whatever for right now? I've heard that from insurance people in town. Would that affect our permitting when you're looking at the floodplain, or is it two separate items?
You're right, Mayor Pro Tem Munns. It is 2 separate items. The county is different than the city. So what I was mentioning was it's on a checklist of things we look at, which are floodplain, Garry oak trees, setbacks, height, zoning, a number of other things on our checklist that we look at as planners, just to make sure that we are ensuring that we're following all the rules and regulations before we issue a building permit.
Thank you. I appreciate you straightening out that little technicality.
Sure.
Okay, Councilor Servadius. Councilor Servadius, can you hear me out there?
Good that time. Thank you.
Great.
Mr. Cool, maybe a little bit of minutia first, but just wondering how this contract will work. So right now, when a caller calls in to request an inspection, how do they know that their message has been received, and who does that go to?
I think the last time we talked, you mentioned an email address would be a good thing to use. And so we took your advice and we decided to create an oakharbor.org email address. And so we've created that so that we can share that with a number of people. And so that's been created just as a separate issue, but we still have our phone message where people can call in, and we do take the message from people at 4 p.m. And then Jay Lovelady, as well as others, if he's not there, we'll take the phone message from people as to the address, what kind of inspection people want, and their phone number, and then we'll write them all down, and then we'll pull their file, so that we have it all ready for the inspector the next morning. And we'll do some analysis as well. If there's going to be something like a concrete pour the next day, our contract company will call the company that wants to do the concrete pour and make sure we have an inspector available that day, because that's a pretty critical inspection to have. We don't want to have a situation come up where we don't have an inspector available and they have concrete rolling to the job site. So what they'll do is we'll make sure that the contract inspector has word by 5 p.m. the day before of all the inspections and what's been requested, so that they can call the various builders just to make sure what kind of inspection that they want the next day. We're there to kind of clarify it and make sure that we don't get ourselves into trouble by not having somebody available for a critical inspection.
Okay, thank you. And that was kind of leading to my next question, is how all of that gets relayed. And I know, and maybe contractors prefer to call it in because that's what they're used to. It seems like a basic template in an email would be great. They get an automated response and then it gets forwarded to the contract inspector. But it sounds like there's some in-house checking that's going on as well. So I appreciate that. I guess I'm always open to process change and improvement. I'm curious, how will this, I'm looking at the email from Ms. House. We've got advertised our building official. I don't know if we have Cody in here yet. How would this contract, if these positions are currently advertised, how will that affect this contract at all, or will it? Are we planning on filling those positions? Cody's position, the building official, those are the two, I guess, that would apply most immediately to your department.
The answer is yes. I will defer to Emma House, and so she can answer the progress on filling those positions.
Good evening, Council. Thank you, David. Yes, the building official position opened on February 12th for recruitment, and we listed the first review to happen this week. And then we are currently in process of approving the requisition to open the recruitment for our plans examiner position.
So if we approve this contract and move forward with those, would we just use BHC less? How do we anticipate that working?
Yes, we would probably keep the contract, obviously, with BHC, and then transition totally to our own inspectors over time. We would have to see how quickly we're able to get our inspectors up to speed, but we would keep BHC online for a while until we didn't need them anymore, and then we would quit using them essentially.
And I guess my final comment would be, if there are builders, developers, small guys, little guys, big guys, whatever guys watching this, please keep us apprised, Council. We need to know if this is working. Obviously, housing, building has been something we've all said is very important to us. So the easiest way always to reach us is council@oakharbor.org. We'll all get an email. I know the mayor and the city administrator would love to hear as well. We just need to know if this process is working. It always makes me a little bit nervous. I'm open to change, but when we outsource this much stuff, sometimes I worry that we lose a little bit of the controls over the processes and keeping track of the timeliness. But Mr. Cool, it sounds like you showed some timelines there that are, I hope, is faster than we're doing it now. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Servadius. Councilor Mack.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Mr. Cool, I've got a couple questions, clarification on some things. And it does sound like you've got this figured out, and it sounds pretty good. It's a one-year contract for $30,000, and I noticed on the termination that the city can terminate this agreement at any point in time. Now, if we find the necessary people to fill one or two or three more of these slots, openings, are we still obligated for the full amount of $30,000?
Good question, Councilman Mack. We're not obligated to pay the 30,000. We just pay based on billable hours that they bill us for. So we're only obligated to whatever service they provide for us. So we're not obligated for the entire 30,000.
Okay, so if we do something in 60 to 90, out to 120 days, then it reverts back to some type of hourly fee of what kind of plans or documents they viewed and that type of thing. You know, for a short period of time, the city will not be liable for a full $30,000 if we use them for 30 days.
Right. What we'll be liable for is an hourly rate for inspections, and we'll just pay them hourly. They'll bill us for that. And then they'll bill us for a set percentage of the plan review, where they'll charge, we'll basically pay them for 50% of the plan review fee, and depending upon how many plans they review of ours. And it just depends upon how quickly we're able to fill the positions and how long we need to use them. If we don't need to use them very long, then chances are we won't need to use the entire 30,000. If we need to use them a little longer, then we'll need to come back and probably augment the contract and add to it later. The good news is, you know, we won't be spending the money on the 2 positions that we currently have budgeted, so there'll still be some money available to help fund this project.
No, I think it's a good value. It does say that it will not exceed that amount. So it sounds like it's going to work out good for both parties, especially for the city, due to the shortage in staff, and keep the building community up to speed and that type of thing. So good presentation. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. If there aren't any more questions, I'll make the motion. All right, I move to approve the contract with BHC for building official services.
Second.
Okay, so we've got a motion to approve the contract with BHC for building official services. Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Munn, second by Councilor Heisen. Seeing no other questions or input, all in favor, raise your hand. And that looks like that passes unanimously, all 6 votes. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. We'll move on then to item number 9A, WCIA 2021 Risk Reduction Grant Application, Parks and Marina Safety Cameras. And we have our Central Services Supervisor, Sandra Place. Sandra, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, City Council members. I'm going to begin sharing my screen here. The purpose of this agenda bill is to authorize the mayor to sign the WCIA WCIA 2120 Risk Reduction Grant Application, which is due on March 5th of this year. WCIA's Risk Reduction Grant takes into account their goals, which are to protect and maintain the authority, to sustain and enhance the members' commitment and involvement, and to foster sound risk management practices, and to contain or manage adverse loss exposure. Included in the 2021-22 biennial budget is 8 security camera projects, 1 for the marina, 1 for Public Works shop facility, 1 for the Parks Division, which is broken into 6 sub-projects for individual parks, and the Water Division has 5 projects. In total, we have budgeted $250,000. These next slides have been included into your packet as well as on screen, just to show you the details of each project. This particular one is for the marina. This one's for the Public Works shop. Then at the parks, the sub parks that I was referencing is the Windjammer Park, Flintstone Park, Howard Malley, Little League Fields, Volunteer Park, and the Skateboard Park. We have one for the North Reservoir security camera, one for well 8, well 9, well 11, and the Red Wing Booster Station. The request for proposal for the city security camera projects will be advertised beginning next week, and we anticipate an install date before June 2021 if approved by City Council. The recommended action tonight is a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the WCIA 2021 risk reduction grant application for the security cameras. And at this time, I would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Okay, before we go to council, just make sure we've got no input from anyone else, okay? Then we'll turn to council and see Mayor Pro Tem Munns.
What is the difference between the grant and the $250,000?
So the grant, there's $150,000 that is available for the year, and all of the cities are going to be applying for the grant. Typically, they only award up to $30,000, and so this would just be offsetting that $250,000 across the board if it was awarded to the security camera project.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, any other questions? Councilor Heisen.
Thank you, Mayor. I can go ahead and make the motion if nobody else has anything. I'm looking. I move to authorize the mayor to sign the WCIA 2021 risk reduction grant application for security cameras.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second to authorize the mayor to sign WCIA 2021 risk reduction grant application for security cameras. Motion by Councilor Heisen, second by Councilor Servadius. All in favor, raise your hand. And that passes unanimously. Okay. We will move on to our last agenda item for this evening, which is item number 9B. And this is WCIA 2021 Risk Reduction Grant Center Parking Lot Safety Improvement. I think we have our Senior Services Administrator, Liz Lang. Liz? Liz, you might be muted. Can't hear you.
So excited. All right, thank you, Mayor, and hello, Council. This is a second request for approval for a grant application to WCIA for their 2021 risk grant reduction funds. So Sandra did a great job kind of highlighting what the grant is for and when the grant is due. And one thing I would add is that as a WCIA city member, we can submit 2 mitigation grant requests for 2021. So we can submit the camera request and this additional one. She did go over kind of the goals of what WCIA is hoping to achieve by allowing this funding out to different cities. And one of the things that I would highlight in that is they are looking to reduce the liability exposures, and examples of that exposure they included were premises liabilities that included trip and falls on sidewalks. And out of the 56 risk mitigation grants that they awarded between 2016 and 2020, approximately 20 of those were for similar sidewalk and ramp repairs as the one I'm presenting tonight. Again, Sandra touched on this. The highest award for this type of request, specifically for these kind of sidewalk repairs, was $35,000, and the lowest was $3,500, with the average being about $17,000. So the parking lot here at the center, it does predate the Americans with a Disability Act standards for accessible design. So we are grandfathered in, but it doesn't mean that we meet the current safety guidelines, and this has resulted in multiple falls and injuries in our parking lot over the past several years. So this grant would be an opportunity for us to update a few of the key problem areas in the parking lot and sidewalk access areas. So what we would be looking to do with this grant funding would be replace 2 ramps, include a raised crosswalk that I'll show you that connects those 2 ramps, and a section of handrails. So the total estimated amount for this project would be $26,300, and it would be completed this year per grant requirement. So here's an aerial of our parking lot, and you can see this little section here coming down from Jerome. It's hard to tell in pictures, but it is a very steep incline here, and a lot of members and people who visit the center come via bus and get dropped off right here and walk down this little access area. And then again, here's the ramp 1, ramp 2, and this would be where the raised crosswalk is. So here are some photos of what it currently looks like. Again, very, very steep and easy for people to trip on, and raised sidewalk here. Here's another view of where the crosswalk that we're proposing to make a raised crosswalk right there and stripe it. And again, can't tell how steep it is in this photo, but this little section here is where the handrails would go coming down from Jerome. So with that, our recommended action is a motion authorizing the mayor to sign the WCIA 2021 Risk Grant Reduction Grant application for the center parking lot safety improvements. And I'll stand for any questions.
Okay, thank you, Liz. And I'll verify we don't have any other input from our public on this item either, so we will take it to the council for questions. Mayor Pro Tem Munns.
Thank you, Mayor. Great idea, Ms. Lang, to take advantage of this grant, and hopefully we can get the maximum or at least 17,000. It would go a long way. So great idea.
Thank you.
Okay, any other, Councilor Servadius?
Councilmember Wassinger was raising her hand there with a question.
Okay, Councilor Wassinger.
Oh, yes, I was just going to go ahead and make the motion. If there were no other comments, or if Councilmember Servadius had one, I can hold off.
Nope, take it away.
Oh, thank you. Okay, I move to authorize the mayor to sign the WCIA 2021 Risk Grant Reduction Grant application for the center parking lot safety improvements.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. The motion reads exactly like the recommended action in the packet. That motion was made by Councilor Wassinger, and the second was Councilor Servadius. All in favor, please raise your hand, check the box, or whatever we're doing. That passes unanimously. So thank you very much for that and your input. And Liz Lang, thank you.
Thank you.
Sandra, thank you on the earlier one. And I think that concludes our agenda for this evening. So seeing no other business, I'll just say thank you very much for your patience for our downtime. And I'm sorry we didn't get to hear all the jokes that went on there with council, but it sounds like you guys had a little fun. And thanks for your patience. Thank you to the public. Be safe out there, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion second. All in favor, say aye. Okay. Thank you. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
See you guys.